This is it. I can't believe I'm about to start classes at Melbourne. One word to describe how I felt about getting into Melbourne: exhilarated. When I got into Melbourne and I was accepted, I was so happy and I felt accomplished. It was the first step in achieving my life goals. The quotes that you just saw are all from real students, and it was some of their tips, some of the things they were a bit nervous about, but that big moment when they felt proud to get into the University of Melbourne. So I would like to say to everyone out there, it begins right now. And I would like to say to you, Woman Jaika, or welcome to the University of Melbourne. So, as I said, it all begins. Tonight is part one, where we're going to get you started at Melbourne. Tomorrow night, you need to tune in because we're going to give you some more information and advice. My name is Zoe Wall, and I'm going to be looking after you tonight and tomorrow. But before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we all gather here tonight, no matter where you are. And I would like to pay my acknowledgement to their elders past, present, and emerging. So for those of you unfamiliar with Australian culture, what you just experienced was an acknowledgement of country. It's our way of acknowledging and paying respects to our traditional owners of Australia and their rich cultural heritage. So this is something that you're going to experience in classes, at events, and is a really important part of what we do at the University of Melbourne. So as I said, let's get started. Now I know when you were planning and dreaming about where you were going to come to university, you probably didn't expect a global pandemic to get in the way. But I wanted to assure you tonight that the first tip from me is that we will be bringing you a slice of Melbourne every single time that you log on. So whether it's your classes, whether it's an event, whether you need to get some help, no matter where you are, your bedroom, your kitchen, your lounge room, whether you're in Chile or whether you're in Mexico, Africa, anywhere, even if you're nearby in Melbourne, we're going to be giving you a slice of life every time you log on. We like to say we've always been global, but wherever you are tonight, you're also our campuses. So we're also ready and waiting for you to come and safely start with us. But you're going to be learning a lot of the great ways that we're going to be giving you that true Melbourne experience, no matter where you are. So tonight is all about you. We want to give you a head start because it is a bit exciting, a bit nerve-wracking when you start university. So I have pulled together a panel of experts to do just that, to help you. But also in the background is an entire team of chatters, and they're ready to take your questions, some of which I'm going to put live to my special guests. And if we don't get to your question, we're going to make sure to follow that up. So I've said it before and I'll say it again, we're going to begin. So one of the best places that you can go for advice when you're thinking, I'm about to start uni, what first, is current students and the people that talk to students every single day. So firstly, I've assembled a panel to give you their tips, tricks, and the first things that you need to know about university life. My first guest on the panel comes to us from Paraguay. She's a Master of Development student, but she's currently here in Melbourne. Please welcome Mercedes. Hi, Mercedes.
Hi, Zoe. How are you? Welcome all.
Fantastic. It's wonderful to have you here. Joining Mercedes and I, she is currently in Singapore and she's all ready to share her tips with you. Please welcome to the screen, Charlene. Hi, Charlene. Stay with us too, Mercedes, if you can come back. Hi, Charlene. Welcome.
Hi, lovely to meet everyone.
Wonderful. And I know that you've got some wonderful tips. You've even actually produced a video about making friends. I'm going to talk to you about that later. And joining us, we also have a team of staff who talk to students every single day. You may have even talked to them yourselves or had an email, but they know what's on your mind and how to help you. Please welcome some of our student advisors. We have Louis. Welcome, Louis.
Hi, Zoe.
We have Harley. Hi,
Hi,
Harley.
Zoe.
We have Maeve. Hello.
Hi, Zoe.
And we have Sam.
Hi, Zoe.
Welcome. So you are either living through this now as current students, or you speak to students every single day. So let's get this started. I'm really keen to hear from some of our students first. So kicking things off, I'm going to come to you, Charlene, and I'm really keen to know, what was your experience studying online? Any tips that you've got for our audience out there, many of which will be starting from what I call their campuses throughout the world. Charlene.
Thanks, Zoe. That's actually a really good question. Well, I'll be honest here and say that definitely studying online has definitely posed its challenges. It definitely might seem a little bit strange, especially because before the pandemic, we're all used to that, studying face-to-face and all. But I think through this sort of change, it definitely brings about innovation, and it has definitely positively impacted the way I study. I would say that because personally I'm quite slow at digesting information. So when it comes to online lectures, it's great that our dear professors will record nice pre-recorded lectures down and put into bite-sized pieces for us to understand. And I guess some tips really moving forward online, especially given the flexibility of it. I mean, you can literally come to class in your PJs, is that you need to really stay on top of your work and to keep track of what's going on. And once you're there, honesty is entirely fine. I was a bit nervous about online learning, but it really has turned out much better than I would have expected.
Wonderful. Charlene's pointing out some of those positives, pajamas being one. I think that's a really, really great one. I want to hear your perspective on things, Mercedes. You were studying from home last year when you were in Melbourne. What's your advice to students out there? What surprised you about online learning? Maybe one of the benefits.
Well, I will have to say that you should all know that the university has everything, in terms of the platform, the online library. So I can assure you that Unimel has all the resources you need to have an excellent virtual experience. And that is relevant to take into account, as not all unis are prepared for this challenge. So I think that is kind of the most important point.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm going to now head over to you, Louis, and we're going to stay on this topic of online learning. And I wanted to know, what kinds of services and support is available to students who are studying online from anywhere in the world?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question, Zoe, and I think Mercedes touched on it briefly. All of the services that we do offer here at the university are available to you. It's just that it will be in a virtual space, given that the Australian borders are closed. So the University of Melbourne does offer one of the most comprehensive student support networks in Australia, and Stop One, which is where I work, can connect you with a full range of student services to help support your success here at the university. Whether you're looking at services in course planning, our student equity and disability support teams, counselling and psychological services, we're here to help you virtually. So all of the services that we do offer for students that may be studying on campus are also available for you online virtually via Zoom.
Thanks, Louis. Really great advice there. Now, for all of you undergraduate students out there in the audience, we will be doing a very special online learning. How does it work? What does it look like tomorrow night as part of part 2, where you will see specifically how you're going to learn, engage, and be taught in your degree. For graduates, we're going to be covering that in your special academic session as well. So make sure to tune in for that, and you'll see some great opportunities and, in some cases, even some advantages from that. So now, I know there's a lot of our audience out there still kind of struggling with some things like accepting their offers and that kind of thing. So Maeve, I'm going to come to you. You're a bit of an expert on this. How can students accept their offer if they're struggling at all? What's your advice to those out there that are still at that point?
Yeah, so Firstly, if your offer is conditional, you will need to satisfy those offer conditions first. So to do that, you can just log back into the application portal and upload any documents you need to your application. Once you've got your unconditional offer, which I know a lot of you do, so congratulations. First thing I would recommend is to just read through your entire offer letter. It contains loads of important information that you do need to know, like the deadline to accept your offer and the deadline to be enrolled into your course. Your offer letter will also contain a link to our getting started steps. So these are super helpful steps that you'll need to go through one by one, and that will allow you to accept your offer and enroll into your course. The first step for international students is to create your University of Melbourne student account that you'll use for your entirety of your studies. Then you'll complete your student acceptance agreement, and once we process that, we'll send you your confirmation of enrollment. And that's it. So once you get that confirmation of enrollment, you are admitted into your course, and you can move on to all the fun stuff like choosing your subjects and ordering your student card.
Thanks, Maeve. We love the fun stuff. So any other advice from you once someone's got that offer letter and they're feeling confused, where's your first point to go with that offer letter?
Yep. So as the future student support team, we can help with that entire process, right from when you've got your offer letter through to enrollment. Most of you, like you said at the start, Zoe, have probably already spoke to myself, Sam, Harley, or Louis throughout your application process. So if you've got any questions at all about your offer, you can give us a call, send us an email, or we can arrange a virtual appointment and we can call you. You can ask us absolutely anything. We can read through your offer letter with you, and we can make sure that you have accepted your offer from our end to double and triple check everything so you're ready to go before classes start.
Oh, thanks so much, because I know there's so many different things going on when you start at university that sometimes things that you think might be simple feel a little tricky. So it's great to have you there, Maeve. Thank you so much. Now, another thing I know many of you might be kind of going through at the moment, timetabling. So I'm going to head over to you here, Sam. In terms of timetabling, it can sometimes be confusing. What are your tips to make that smooth transition before classes start?
Thanks, Zoe. My number one tip is to do it as soon as possible. It can be overwhelming, but the sooner you get it done, the more we can help you if you do encounter any issues. So once you have completed enrolling in your subjects, you'll need to choose the classes and your timetable. For most of your subjects, there are a number of different times the classes run, and you're able to choose from different options from your classes schedules, and this means you can choose the time that best suits you and your time zone. Once you've listed your preferences, our timetabling system creates an individual timetable for you based on your preferences, and this ensures that you and everyone else has equal opportunity to get your preferred class times. You'll use this system to create class timetables throughout all your studies, so whether you're doing your undergrad or postgrad, it's the same system no matter what. So there's 3 easy steps really. It's plan your timetable, you enter your preferences, and then you review and adjust your timetable once that's all been provided back to you. But yeah, just do it as soon as you can, and then we can help you if you do encounter any issues or have any other questions.
And remember, if you live in a time zone that is a little trickier, and at first, just that point, make sure to reach out to us so that we can help you get into some of those classes. Now, I was listening keenly to our experts, and the international student checklist was mentioned. Louis, tell us a little more about this. Why is this important?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. And we have found that it is something that we have created to sort of really guide students through what they need to do to ensure a smooth transition into that university life. Because regardless of whether you're coming from high school, another university, you're from overseas, it can be a little bit overwhelming learning new systems and not really sure where to go. So we have created the International Student Checklist. And the first point of call that you need to do is you should download the my.unilife app, which will allow you access to a range of university services, including your international student checklist. So you can tick off all of the important tasks that you need to do to ensure a smooth transition to university life. There's tips on there about how to set yourself up for remote study to ensure that you do have the correct study space. There's also really great ways to explore our campus virtually. So obviously we can't be here, you guys can't be here on campus at the moment, but you can still explore everything we have to offer virtually. You can find out where to go for support, advice, and find information tailored for your needs. You can access all of the connections with the library and accessing academic skills and things like that. And one of the first things on our international student checklist is attending the international student webinar. So you can already tick that off your list from attending tonight. So you're already one step ahead of the game there. But yeah, I think probably the most important thing to do when you do get your letter of offer is to download the my.unilife app, where you can sort of go through and tick things off as you go.
Lots of excellent advice there, Louis, and that's been prepared specially for you to make life easier. And we try to do lots of things like that for you. Now, we do have a question that's come in from one of our audience members, Abe. And Abe is asking about, is it right if I've got my offer with borders closed to accept and start online? Now, I know many of you thinking about that. I'm going to tackle this one. And essentially, I'd say you do what's right for you. So lots of our students, they don't want to wait. They want to get started with their studies. They've got goals. They've got things that they want to tick off. What you will learn and see tonight is the way, whether you're on or offshore throughout the world, that we will be giving you that unique piece of the University of Melbourne. The learning and teaching will really surprise you. So this is where I would encourage you to please make sure to tune in tomorrow for the online learning sessions for your course. And Abe, if you're a grad, I'll be covering that in the academic session. I think you'll be surprised by what we've made possible. You'll also see just how much you can do club events, you can live stream bands. There's all sorts of options. There's even internships happening online. So the global pandemic has not stopped us at the University of Melbourne. So my answer to that, Abe, and to anyone else thinking, is see what's right for you. We've got plenty of students throughout the world who are actually seeing many benefits of online learning and joining us later. So thanks for that, Abe, and congratulations and good luck for joining the Melbourne community. So now I think one of the big things about moving to university is no matter where you are, whether you're local in Australia or whether you're in Singapore or anywhere else throughout the world, people are a little bit nervous. They're excited, they're nervous, but how am I going to make new friends? And we actually have a bit of an expert on the panel here who's actually done something to help students make friends. So Charlene, what are your tips for students that are starting online to make new friends when they go to university?
Thanks, Zoe. That's a great question, and also a great way for me to introduce the program that I'm part of, which is the Melbourne Peer Support Program. So the Melbourne Peer Support Program, from my understanding, is where new students, it's mandatory to attend it. And I essentially am there as a peer mentor. So being a peer mentor, there's a group of students that are assigned to me, and we chat with each other through the My Uni Life Chatter app, and we meet up with each other over Zoom once every 2 to 3 weeks, just, to have an informal check-in with each other. Definitely the learning process is definitely two ways. As a peer mentor, I definitely have learned a lot from my peer mentees as well. And I love to see them over the sessions, how they really build up good rapport with each other and really to be able to make new friends. So if students really want to be involved in it, the best way I would say is really just attend these sessions, even though it might seem that it's over Zoom. It might seem a little bit boring or awkward at first, but really it's a great way and a great starting platform to get to know freshmen that are like-minded, just like yourself, and to really share tips and all that with each other. And if you're interested, you can always apply to the program back again as a peer mentor. And it was definitely a very rewarding experience for me.
Thanks so much for that, Charlene. And of course, you'll be able to meet other classmates in your actual classes. You'll be able to get involved in clubs, and we've got more on that later. I've got a special guest joining me there. Mercedes, what's your advice for making friends when you're all feeling a bit nervous at the start?
So I will strongly recommend to have a look to the UMSU website and also the GSA. I will post in the chat so that you can see all the clubs that are available for undergrad students as well as for graduate students. And one thing that I do is I find someone that I think it will be good to know more about this person. I just ask the student if I can add on Facebook, so I add, and then we start to interact, or even like LinkedIn, stuff like that. So we all have social media.
Great tip. So there you have it. It's great. So both Charlene and Mercedes were exactly where you guys were not long ago. They made friends, they did it, and so will you. Now, one of the ways you can meet friends online or offline is during orientation week, or O week, as we call it. Harley, can you tell me a little bit about why students should attend O week and what they can get out of it?
Yes, absolutely. Melbourne orientation is the best way to get to know your new community and get ready to start classes. You'll be able to join a variety of orientation activities, which will be available online. So you'll be able to meet new people and prepare for classes wherever you are in the world. As part of orientation, if you're a new undergraduate student, you'll also be able to attend the Melbourne Commencement Ceremony, which is your official welcome to the University of Melbourne and a chance to celebrate with your new faculty. You'll also get the chance to meet your Melbourne peer mentor and group for the first time and attend a number of course information events. There'll also be information sessions about fees, housing, developing skills, and getting involved. As part of orientation, you'll also have the opportunity to learn about the services available to you and the many clubs and societies that you can be part of.
Brilliant. And more on clubs and societies later. Thanks, Harley. And just so you know, orientation begins on the 19th of July and it happens all week, online and offline. So make sure that you do get involved. You've sold me, Harley. I think it sounds very important. Well, I want Charlene and Mercedes to cast your minds back not so long ago when you were just like our commencing students out there all throughout the world. Now, Mercedes, what were some of the challenges you faced starting university and what are your tips, I guess, to overcome that?
Well, I think that I have two main challenges. The first one, when I moved to Melbourne, was getting familiar with the public transport. In Melbourne, public transport is great, but it also takes time to get familiar with. And then the other thing is adapting to a new lifestyle, in which 100% depends on you in terms of cooking, study, laundry, job, getting engaged with the university community. So I would strongly recommend that you look at yourself, your mental health, and also your physical health. And in that sense, the university has a range of services that you can check online. I can also post the link.
Wonderful. I'm going to stick with you for a moment, Mercedes, before we jump to Charlene. So you've got some more thinking time, Charlene. We have another question from our live studio audience. We have from Aaron. He'd like to know, Mercedes, from you. As a graduate student, did you find it harder to make friends than, I guess, comparing to when you started undergraduate studies? So what's your tips in particular for graduate students out there?
My main tip is that you have a look on the clubs that are available. The university has a really diverse community, and you can find clubs from everywhere in terms of nationality. So you have clubs from India, from South America, from China, from everywhere. So I'm pretty sure that you will have lots of opportunities to engage and to build your network, and that is super relevant to make challenges more easier and life more enjoyable.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mercedes. And one of the great things about the University of Melbourne that's quite unique is 50% of our students are actually graduate students. So there's graduate student associations, there's special spaces for graduate students, and lots of opportunities there because 50% of the students will be just like you, new and wanting to make friends. So you'll be looked after. Thanks, Mercedes. Now, Charlene, What were some of the challenges that you might have faced, or what was something surprising about starting at Melbourne, and your advice for anyone that faces similar things?
Thanks for the question, Zoe. So for me, because I actually had a year of advanced standing before I came to Uni Melbourne because of my offer letter. So essentially, I actually started studying in the university 2 semesters ago, which was basically still during the pandemic times. Technically, I haven't really set foot into Melbourne yet. So I think one key challenge really was the learning curve, because it definitely was a steep jump based on that what I've learned at a previous institution. I was just like, oh my gosh, go to uni, and because I'm a Bachelor of Arts student, everything is like research papers, everything is like essays. I'm just like, oh my God, where do I start? There seems to be so much that's that needed to do. But I think one thing that was like really surprising is that to really open your mind up to what you can or cannot do through like the wide range of like modules available at the university. And I really love like the Uni Melbourne like study plan. We get to, for example, experience different art subjects, breadth subjects and all that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that this such a thing existed. Or like, oh my gosh, this is something that I might have heard of, but I haven't actually really got to study. Or like, oh wow, I thought I was really weak in this area, by the peers that if I put my heart and mind to it, I definitely am able to do it. And this is really helped through the culture of encouraging like open discussions and all, and a very comprehensive LMS with things that are very arranged in very good organization, and through the productive tutorials or that with classmates. So yeah, I would say that really to keep an open mind about this, and whatever challenges that you face and all that, it can be easily managed.
Oh, that's wonderful, Charlene. And LMS, for those listening, is the learning management system. So that's one of the places you'll get to know very familiar as you study along the way. We also like acronyms at universities, and you'll be speaking in them very soon. I think one thing I really took from that, Charlene, was the fact that there's lots of help along the way. So it's whether it starts tonight with part 1 of Welcome to Melbourne, and whether it's part 2 tomorrow, where we're going to show you some more of that academic support, course planning support, but it's all along the way. Next steps are commencement, your peer mentor program, meeting, O-week, and then all throughout semester, you can book in. I think case in point, Louis, Maeve, Harley, and Sam, they've been along the way helping you already, and they will continue to do so, as will many other staff. We want you to make sure to reach out. I've got a final question for my panelists. To all of our new students out there that we're so excited to join the Melbourne community, I want to know what your number 1 tip is for starting at the University of Melbourne. I'm going to go to you first, Sam.
Have fun. I studied at Melbourne. I had the best time. So yeah, I can just say like, enjoy your studies, but also have fun at the same time.
Great tip. Now, who for my challenge? Mercedes, number 1 tip.
Set up a routine with breaks, study hours, and all the activities that you would like to do.
Routine is a great tip. Louis.
I think probably the number 1 tip is say hello. Everyone is in the same position as you. Don't be afraid to reach out and make friends. If you're feeling like you want to speak to someone, just say hello.
Hello, everyone. That is so true, because I think it's an easy and friendly community to connect with. Harley, what's your advice?
Get involved. Just make the most of all of the services that we do have available to you, and just enjoy it. We're here for you. So if you ever need help, just reach out.
Brilliant. And Charlene, final tip from you.
Really just seize any opportunity that you can get to build your resume, because there are so many things available at the university, and you really never know if you don't try.
I love that advice. So get involved, make the most of it. But I think the biggest thing that I got from our panel of experts is ask for help. You don't have to know the answers to anything or everything. And remember, every single person that you haven't met yet that's all throughout the world tonight, they're all feeling a bit nervous, excited, and they've got many, many questions. So you're not alone. So from all of us out there watching, I'd like to thank our incredible panelists. They are your fellow students. Charlene, coming to us live from Singapore. Mercedes, coming live from Melbourne. And we have our incredible student advisors, Louis, Maeve, Harley, and Sam. Thanks so much for joining us. I know everyone out there has appreciated it. Lovely to have you here.
Thanks, Zoe.
Thanks, Zoe.
Okay, you heard it here, your very first tip. So you are well up and running at the start of your lives as University of Melbourne students. Now, we've had some tips, but life at university is about more than just what you do in the classroom. It's really important taking the tips of our students to get involved, and that could be from anything from clubs to going to industry networking events to going out on an internship or just going to see a gig. So one of the really important things when you get here is, where are you going to live? What will life be like? So now, part 2, we're going to look at life at Melbourne. So some of the things that you can experience now and some of the things to get you ready for when you join us later. So speaking of later, we're going to have a chat to our manager of student accommodation, Cameron Beswick. Cam's going to have a chat to you all about the wonderful accommodation options available. Hi, Cam.
Hi, Zoe. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I'm going to hand over to you right now because you're the expert. You're going to give a short presentation for those of you planning to come to Australia when you can. So you're all in good hands. Over to you, Cam.
Thank you. And I am just going to share a couple of slides with everyone that I'll go through really quickly. But when it is possible for you to travel to Australia and come to Melbourne, it'll be important to do a little bit of thinking beforehand about what the different accommodation options are, so that you can have a little bit of a plan for where you're going to live. And I'm just going to talk you through a few of what those options are, and in particular tell you a little bit about the university's accommodation. So first up, before we get into any individual buildings or anything like that, I thought it'd be useful to show you this little map that our team has developed that might be helpful. So this, even though it doesn't really look like a map, it kind of tells you all of the options that you have. So these are the big main sort of styles of accommodation. So when you are looking at the different options, you can keep this in mind, and you can sort of then go and burrow into the different categories based on what you think you might like. So you can live on the campus, or you can live off campus, and you know, different accommodation providers are going to be able to provide a different level of bundling. So how many different services they might be able to wrap into just the one option or offering. So for example, you know, being able to provide food, possibly even laundry, or even things like internet access or utilities. So some providers are able to basically bundle everything up so that it's all in one place, and you don't need to go off and source those things yourself. If you want to understand those options more, there's that URL at the bottom of the screen, which is our website, which has a lot of this information and nearly everything that I'll be talking about. But then beyond that, I think in particular, I'd like to talk to you about the university accommodation, that one in the top left. So that's because it's new and it's really different and interesting. So the university has, over the last couple of years, been building its own student accommodation and designing its own new buildings with its students in mind. And so now those are sort of built and they're open, and we've got students in them enjoying them. And so I wanted to share a little bit about the university accommodation with you. And one of the reasons university wanted to build lots of new and interesting accommodation and deliver that itself was to be able to give you that full supported journey the whole way through in the classroom and out. And so we support you in a range of different ways. Clearly, the main way that we support you is to be able to live away from home and to be able to study effectively while not living with your parents or whoever you've been living with through school. So if there's any aspects of living away from home that, like Mercedes mentioned, that might seem a little bit intimidating to sort of start doing, like, for example, learning how to cook a few dishes and cook for yourself, we'll make that easy. And so, we will organise cooking classes, and we will make it a group activity so everyone can sort of go through that learning process together. We also support you to make lots of friends, and really, that's one of the ways that a lot of people say that living on campus is life-changing, and what really made a difference for them was meeting lots of people and developing these deep lifelong friendships. So we'll organise lots of activities, help people explore Melbourne and Victoria and the area together. Our buildings usually have people from about 60 or more nationalities around, so you'll generally make friends from all over the world. And so that's a really big benefit of living on campus, and that's something that we do our best to support you in. We also try to support you to reach your study goals. So, as much as it's really fun to live on campus and get involved in everything, and, in the back of everyone's mind, they've got the main sort of goal and the purpose for coming to study, which is to do well and learn as much as possible and set yourself up for a brighter future. So our buildings are designed to really support you with that. So, we have lots and lots of study spaces in our buildings, and there's a big variety of them. And then we organise lots of supplementary programs to help you get on top of study. And we combine, our efforts there with the academic skills team, but we'll organise study groups. We'll help with language swaps. We'll bring in skill workshops like time management and all these kinds of things. And so really, as much as the buildings are lots of fun, they are a very sort of educational as well. And you're not likely to get distracted from study. You're likely to get immersed in it. While you're looking at our website, you will see that we have got our fees published, and that's an important thing that you're going to have to look into. And you can certainly ask through the Q&A about the different, which I'm sure you may ask anyway, about scholarships and financial support and all this kind of thing. But the one thing I did want to emphasize with when you're looking at the fees and when you're deciding between different accommodation options, that the fees are not just the rent. For anyone who has rented before, those fees include everything that you see on these slides, and so that includes rent, your utilities, unlimited internet, all the sort of amenities that the building has, like a gym and games rooms and cinemas and all of those lovely spaces that I was talking about. Staff around the clock who are there to help you with anything that you need, and all the programs, and of course that connection into a community of people who are going through the same things as you are. That's just one to keep in mind. If you are interested in applying, we've tried to make the process of getting accommodation as simple and as easy as possible. It's really quick. You can just do it from our website. Though hold on to the next slide, because I have got a special treat. And you can apply for the 5 different places in the one application. And when you apply, you have secured accommodation. So we have got an accommodation guarantee where once you've applied and you are still a full-time enrolled student, then we absolutely will offer you somewhere to live that we know is high quality, because that's our accommodation guarantee. And please reach out to our team if you have any questions. Now, I did just want to try to finish and linger on this slide, because we have just put together this special offer for you guys. We know that for nearly everyone, traveling to come and live with us isn't possible at the moment. So what we've put together is, if you follow this QR code, and we can post the link in the chat as well if the code doesn't work for some reason, then this will take you to our portal where you can create an account. There are some resources in that portal to help with house hunting and sort of adjusting to moving to Melbourne. But crucially, if you create an account using this link, then when you do go to apply for 2022 accommodation, then you won't have to pay the application fee, which is normally $100. So you can just create an account today, and then that will save you $100 down the track. So I'll just leave that there for a little bit longer, but otherwise pause to see if there's any interesting questions that have come through that I might be able to help with.
We absolutely do have some questions for you, Cam. I'm going to ask you a couple now, and then I'm going to invite you to come back later with our other guests. On your last slide, you mentioned about making the process pretty stress-free. I'm also really intrigued to know, what is the no travel, no stress policy that students out there may have heard about?
Yes, a very good question. Thank you. So for the guys who have navigated to our website already, when you do go there, you'll see that we have a no travel, no stress policy for the university accommodation, which basically sort of is what it says it is. So you can sign up to our accommodation. So you can sign an agreement, pay your deposit, secure the room. But if there's a travel restriction that prevents you from being able to travel to the university and take up the accommodation, then all you need to do is fill in a quick 2-minute form, and then you'll be able to suspend your agreement, so you won't have to pay any rent or have any obligations until you are able to travel. And then if a little bit of time passes and it's approaching census date and you still aren't able to travel, then you are able to roll over your booking to the next semester and bring it forward if you suddenly can travel, or you can terminate and get a full refund, or you can hold that suspension. So if you're unable to travel, it shouldn't stop you from being able to book. It just means that you won't be sort of locked into anything, or you won't be financially penalised if a travel restriction still applies.
Brilliant. Thanks, Cam, because I think that was a question on the minds of many of our audience out there. We do have another one that's come in live from Natalie. Congratulations, Natalie, on being part of the Melbourne family. Cam, Natalie would like to know, when should students be prepping or applying for uni accommodation? Should they do it right now, or should they wait till announcements for the borders opening? So I think there was a bit of a hint with your stress less policy there, but
yes.
What's your advice to Natalie and everyone else out there?
Yes, thanks, Natalie. So certainly you can apply now, and that's obviously, we've tried to make that as easy as possible and stress-free. And I also think that's a very good idea. So because of that, because there's no sort of penalty, then it makes sense to just sort of apply early as soon as it opens. And the reason for that is because we, as much as we've got lots of great buildings, there is still this like limited availability. So to maximize the chances of getting what you want, so if you want a particular room type, like you want a studio apartment, we've got everything to yourself, or you want to share in just with one other person, or you've got some little preferences like that, the earlier you get your application in, the more likely you are to get that preference. Whereas at the last minute, maybe everyone wanted the same thing you did, and so those are all gone, and you might have to sort of compromise and take what we have left available. So apply early is basically a good rule of thumb.
Great advice there, Cam. I hope that helps you, Natalie. Last chance to get that QR code off the screen where you can save $100 before Cam takes it down. Final question, but I am going to invite you back later, Cam, is how do you support under 18 years of age students?
So we do, if you're going to be from overseas and you're under 18, you have to live with an approved provider, basically. So it's someone that we know that is safe and high quality. And the university's accommodation is obviously one of those. And so when you move in, we'll assign you like a staff member who will be like a trusted point of contact. They're highly trained in sort of welfare issues and support, lots of the support services that have already been mentioned. They'll be able to explain everything to you. They'll check on you regularly and just make sure that you have everything that you need. And so it's really, there's a whole extra layer of where we have a lot more contact with you, and there's also an under 18s international support program from the university that's not just housing but everything, and so you'll be in regular touch with that program as well, and they'll be able to sort out any issues.
Wonderful. Thanks, Cam. Talking about your home, away from home. I'll get you to come back and join us again later, but thank you so much for giving us that great introduction to accommodation. So you've got some tips. We've looked at maybe where you might be living when you join us. But one of the best ways that you can make friends, and you can do this online and offline, is get involved in a bit of sport and fitness. So I'm going to give you a bit of an introduction of some of the incredible things that you can do to keep your mind and body healthy and active, make friends, and you can do a lot of this from wherever you are in the world. As I said, we bring you a unique slice of Melbourne every time you log on, and there's lots of opportunities outside the classroom. So I'm just going to share my screen again, and I'm going to play a short video for you just to give you a bit of a taste about what's out there for you with sport. Let's give that another go. Take 2.
Welcome to Sport at the University of Melbourne. The university is committed to providing a dynamic student experience with a vast range of clubs, sports programs, and fitness services to cater for all levels, from the first timer through to the elite athlete. There is something for everyone. Now let's see how you can get involved. Find out more about sport at the University of Melbourne.
Okay, so that gave you a slice of things to come, but as I said, maybe not the rowing online, but there are many things that you can do. So my next guest comes to us from Melbourne University Sport. He's also a grad. Please welcome Andrew. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Zoe. Hi, everyone at home. Hope you're all well.
So we saw a lot of the incredible facilities on campus. How can students who might be starting online stay active or get involved with Melbourne University Sport right now, no matter where they are in the world?
Yeah, so on our website, we've got a link for staying active, which went up obviously when COVID hit, and a lot of us, we weren't able to offer the normal programs we have. So we had to shift online. So we've got a lot of kind of group fitness classes that now you can do from your bedroom. So a whole range of different type of exercises depending on what you want to do. We've also got things like running programs if you're looking to get into that, things like that. Stretching, yoga, Pilates. Some of our clubs also ran their own initiatives to kind of, I guess, almost recruit new members before they've even arrived. So all the clubs are different, and that's definitely on a case-by-case basis. So if you have a club that you're kind of interested in joining, I'd recommend checking out their website to start with, and you might find some cool activities that they're running there.
So, what kinds of sports and things are available for people that might never have tried them, or they might be quite advanced, really good, maybe even representing their countries? What kinds of things can they do?
Yeah, so there's heaps of stuff in that video. So hopefully some things, I guess, caught your eye that you're interested in. But we do have over 47 clubs. So depending on what sport you're into, chances are that we've got it. And most of those will range from having, they'll be set up for beginners or people who are, like you said, quite elite and looking to maybe even represent the university within that. So no matter where you're at, if currently you're participating in a sport, or you maybe played something earlier on in high school and would really love to give it a go again, or if you've never done it before, there's an access point for you with all the clubs where we're really accommodating with that. Even if you just want to do something a bit more social, we've got kind of activities that you can do at lunchtime or just after your classes. Lots of little programs for that. Yeah, and then other than that, in terms of just general exercise, we've got the gym, we've got the pool, we've got a huge group fitness timetable as well. So no matter how you kind of want to get involved and stay active and fit, that's our goal. So we want to give you as many possibilities to do that as we can.
It really is about that balance, is it, Andrew? And look, I think you just touched on this, but we have a question from Pila, who's out there in the audience, and she wants to know, do I have to be really good at a sport, or can it just be fun and social?
No, absolutely not. As I said, depending on sports, some of them have more of a range than others, but we'll always have room for someone who wants to get involved. That's the main kind of participation is the main thing that fuels us here at Melbourne University Sports. So no matter what it is, if it's you want to get into the gym, but you've never been before and you're scared you're going to make a fool of yourself, don't worry. We've got some instructors who'll be able to help you out there. If you want to do a group fitness class, we've got the instructors who can help you. Water safety program, if you don't know how to swim and you'd like to learn. It is quite a big part of Australian culture, so we've got programs for that. Clubs, even just really low level, just social competitions where, it's not actually super competitive. It's just people to get involved and meet some new people. We've got an avenue for you. So you definitely don't have to be an elite athlete to get involved.
Sounds fantastic. I think I'd be a bit scared. I could recommend to everyone, give Australian rules football a go so you get that true cultural taste of what it's like to be a Melburnian. I highly recommend it. Andrew, what can students do if they want to find out more about the things offered online or on campus with Melbourne University Sport? Where should they go?
Yeah, sure. So definitely the website, I think for now, if you're, before you're even here, that's definitely the best place to start to get an idea. Even if you just search Melbourne University Sport, it'll pop up for you. So if it's a club, just kind of scroll through, find the club that you're interested in. If it's a certain type of activity, we've got heaps of information on there. So that's definitely the first place to start. But then when you do eventually get to come to campus, come and see us. We're located kind of at the north end of the university. It's one big campus, and sports pretty much all at the north end of the campus. So if you just come and see us in there, reception will be able to help you out, kind of lean you in the right direction of what we think that you're interested. And yeah, more than happy to help out with that. And a special tip is if it is for O week, or even if restrictions ease in a certain way where we might get a lot of travel, we'll definitely be running we always like to run some free promotions where people can come and try with a certain club or get involved with the gym and the pool and classes, even try, casual sport. If you want to try out some badminton or volleyball for free, we always run promotions like that. So definitely just come and see us whenever you can, or definitely just check out the website. It's got pretty much everything you need.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Andrew. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. I might get you to stick around and come back in a moment in case we get some more questions from the audience. But I think there's lots of opportunities and a great way to stay fit and make friends. Thanks, Andrew.
All right. Thank you.
Now, a big part of when you were thinking about coming to university, you're probably thinking, what clubs can I join? What am I going to try? What am I going to explore? And who are the new amazing people I'm going to meet? Well, we're about to meet a new and amazing person. Her name is Angela, and she comes to you from UMSU. She's going to explain that, international. And it's pretty much part of her job to make sure that you enjoy your time at university, get involved in lots of the different things. So she is also joining us live from Indonesia. And I believe she's been working hard on helping get ready to welcome you during O Week. So it is an absolute pleasure to have you here tonight. Angela, welcome.
Hi, Zoe. Hi, everyone.
So firstly, I might ask you to let our audience, our new students know, what is UMSU International?
So UMSU International, we are the peak representative bodies of all international students at the university. So if you have a problem with the university and once your concern raised, come to us and we will try our best to help you. We usually get to work with the university to come up with things such as the presently for the reduced study loads accepted for international students who are overseas. We help you guys with your welfare and well-being, along with improving your connections, meeting people from your field of work or where you want to major in, as well as also we plan fun events as well and activities for all university students to enjoy.
Brilliant. Now, for many of our new students out there, they are starting overseas. For example, you're in Indonesia right this second. What kinds of things are UMSU doing for students to log in and connect with UMSU and the clubs?
So we recently have an event where we match you up with with people from similar degrees to form a study group to help you guys in meeting people from similar subjects or courses to help you to meet new people and friends to study together. We also have online events as well, which recently held, which is a murder mystery. So you get to meet new people or hang out with your friends to solve a murder mystery. And lastly, we also have events that are run online to help you with your resume, to improve your resume, such as the responsible alcohol services, which are run online as well, and you can do it from overseas.
Angela, you've got people sorted, whether it's meeting new friends, being supported in their studies, but even in helping them get a part-time job with that course. That's fantastic. I have a question from our audience. Alexandra, she'd like to know, hey guys, I was wondering, when will I be able to join a club? Because right now she's not able to click on any and get started. So when do clubs open for new members?
That's a great question. So for orientation weeks, you will have programs from the university as well, but you will also have events and activities from the student from UMSU as well. So clubs and societies, we will be running an online webinars thing, some similar on Hopin, where you can meet the various clubs at the universities, see what events they have to offer, and these clubs range from sports to subjects, and also you can also meet people from your own country as well. There is many choices to choose from.
Wonderful. Well, we do have O Week coming up, of which we've saying, please go to everyone. What have you got in store for our new students from UMSU for O Week?
So we will have events for those that are in Melbourne, but we will also cater to those that are stuck overseas. One of the events we have is you will get to meet new people as well, current students at the university, to ask them on their studies, how online learning is. And we are currently also planning an online event, which will be something where you get to do some quizzes, puzzles, and also meet new people, play games, and have fun.
Sounds great. I was chatting to some of the students earlier this semester, and there's been some really cool stuff. On Tuesdays, there's been live gigs, so bands on campus streamed out to you. We've seen the dance club actually do choreographed work from all different parts of the world. And we've seen things like, as you were saying, sort of puzzle rooms and even chess contests, orchestras. So we're not at all limited. Angela, thanks so much. And we appreciate all your efforts to welcome our new students. And you're doing it all the way from Indonesia. Stay with us. I would love to welcome back Andrew and Cam, because we want to give you some final messages on life outside the classroom, and it's a really important part of your time at university. So I'm going to ask you one big question before we hear from our next guests. Cam, I'm going to go to you first. Outside of the classroom, what do you think is the best thing about being a University of Melbourne student? What do you think that best thing is for them? What makes it special?
I don't want to prevent anyone from doing their assignments, but spending time with friends. I mean, I think that if I think about my own university experience, it just sort of really is that time where you figure out, you know, who you are, and you do that, I think, through just hanging out with your friends a lot and trying, I think, possibly to add to the one thing is trying lots of new things. You'll never get a better opportunity to just try out stand-up comedy, try out archery, try out some stuff that that maybe you wouldn't have gone from, you know, or tried before.
You might even end up doing something that you never expected. You might go from being a physicist to finding that you are great at stand-up comedy. It's a great time to explore. Thanks. Great advice, Cam. Angela, I'm actually going to ask you a different question, because we've got one that's come through from Siru. She would like to know, hi, is it possible to be a volunteer with UMSU? So can you get involved like you have in supporting UMSU?
Ooh, that's a great question. So UMSU International, we run a semester, every semester, the International Student Ambassador Program. So you get to be part of the UMSU International family and help the current committee to plan new events, to plan Zoom workshops and everything. And you also get a chance to improve your leadership skills, speaking skills, get creative and other things.
That's an awesome opportunity that you've clearly taken up. Thank you for that. Andrew, I'm going to go back to the original question, and that's, what do you think makes Melbourne a great place to be for students outside of the classroom?
Yeah, I think Cam's probably stolen my points of trying new things and just putting yourself out there, I think is the best thing. I feel like, especially for a lot of you, if you're coming from overseas, you know, it might be quite daunting, and I can imagine it's easy to kind of you know, find your own little way, your own small group. But I would really recommend, you know, branching out, trying as many new different things in stuff that you've never thought you'd be good at. Try things that you think you might even be bad at, because you might just surprise yourself. You might embarrass yourself and have a big laugh and make heaps of new friends along the way. So I think obviously I'm biased. I would say doing a lot of that through sport is a great way to meet people, and then also to look after your health, both physically and mentally. But yeah, I think getting involved in whatever you can, and just make the most of the opportunity. The uni's got so many different things for you to get involved with, to try, so many resources. So yeah, I think that's probably my bit of advice as well.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much, Andrew. I would like to thank, on behalf of all our new students out there, thank you so much, Angela. We can't wait to see everything unfold during O Week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Andrew. I promise I'm going to get online for some of those classes and keep active and fit. And thanks, Cam, for giving us a bit of a glimpse into what life might be like living at their home away from home. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. See you later.
Okay, so hopefully you've seen that university is about so much more than your classes, and there are some really great ways about how you can start making connections and friends, and it will be a big part of how you feel connected and part of Melbourne. And I assure you, as I say, every time you click on, you will be here with us at Melbourne. So now one of the things that I know that you're all coming to university for is to build your careers. So it's a really exciting moment for you all. It's that next step towards whatever your goals are. But did you know that you can be doing things right from day one to help build your career that are outside the classroom? So in your classes, we're going to be making sure to embed all of those employability skills, connect you with industry, take part in all sorts of things within your classes. But there's plenty of other things that you can be doing right now. So my next guests are experts in this. We have Murray, who's a careers specialist, and we also have the incredible Vinitha, who is a student, and she actually takes part in all of these things that you're going to learn about now. So you're going to see both sides of it. What's available to help me start building my career from day one? And then you'll see what it's like from the perspective of a student. They've both got incredible advice. Take note and consider this your additional subject towards working towards your career. So I'm going to put you over for a conversation with Murray and Vinitha. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Zoe, for the warm welcome. And hi, everybody. My name is Murray, and I'm going to just introduce myself quickly before I ask Vinitha to do the same. So let me tell you a little bit of my career story before I start to talk to you about career stuff over the next 20 minutes or so. So I'm from the state of New South Wales in Australia. I studied at the University of Sydney. I completed a Bachelor of Economics with a double major in Economics and Marketing. And then I was one of the lucky ones. I secured a graduate role at Deloitte in their marketing team. That's a company name that some of you may be aware of. I worked in marketing for 3 years. Then I realized that it wasn't quite for me. So I got involved in a lot of volunteer work outside of my full-time job. In the career support space. Then I got a new job, several jobs where I was helping refugees, people seeking asylum, and international students with career advice and internship placements. Then, long story short, I moved to Melbourne and I've been working at the University of Melbourne for the past couple of years as a careers specialist in the Central Careers and Employability team. So that's a bit about me, but now I'm going to pass to Vinitha. So Vinitha, can you tell us your story and tell the audience about your story as an international student arriving in Melbourne?
I would love to. Thanks, Murray. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I hope everyone is doing well back at home. So I'll start by giving a quick introduction about myself. My name is Vinitha, and I'm an international student from India. And I'm currently doing my master's in architecture. So I started my Melbourne Uni experience back in 2017 when I did the Bachelor of Design course. So I actually went on to continue with my Master's of Architecture to pursue my goals of becoming an architect. And I really want to focus on how design can be used to improve the well-being and sustainability of communities. So in my first year, I was actually still getting used to the transition into university life. So I really got involved with the university resources. So if I had to go back, this is something I'll definitely change. And as I became more proactive to find resources, I was able to gain some really great experiences. For example, I actually volunteered as a mentor for the Bachelor of Design. And this volunteering opportunity actually led me to acquiring my first job as a mentor leader for the Melbourne Peer Mentoring Program. And now I'm currently working as a student peer leader network. So this is just my example of how being active and getting starting things that you never would have thought you could do is a good way to, it opens up so many opportunities, and yeah, definitely get involved. Yeah, so Mari, as a career specialist, beyond what I've mentioned, can you tell us what virtual career support students can access at the university?
Sure, and thank you for telling us your story, Vinitha. So let me start by giving an overview of the university's Central Careers and Employability team. So my team comprises 4 sub-teams who all have different things to offer, all of which is being offered virtually at the moment. So our team shifted to virtual last year and we're still delivering 95% of our service virtually. So we have an alumni team who connects current students with alumni who can provide career advice. We have an industry engagement team who connects current students with employers through key events such as our biannual careers fairs and our annual Focus on China program that features employees from the Chinese job market. We have a digital services team who oversees the many digital career tools that students can access. And lastly, we have an advising team. There is a lot that students, such as yourself, can do virtually to get a head start on their career from day one. For example, the primary service offering of my team, the advising team, is one-on-one career appointments. Our team of career advisors and careers specialists, of which I am part, run 20-minute career consultations Monday to Friday each week, and the service is super popular. Most of the students who book these appointments are international students, and many of them attend the virtual meeting from overseas. And of course, we can't wait to meet a lot of new faces this coming semester. The topics of these appointments are student-led and range from job application assistance and internship inquiries to career planning and career counselling. We also run virtual career workshops quite regularly. These workshops range from sessions on resumes, LinkedIn, interviews, job search, and career planning. These workshops are advertised on our Careers Online platform, as are our new studio sessions, which are small group sessions that are more practice-based and interactive. For example, at a studio session, there could be you and 4 other students who receive interview advice and a mock interview opportunity with a career advisor and a couple of peer leaders, such as Vanitha. Or you could talk about career planning among the group. You can also learn from the input of other students in attendance. But overall, our workshops provide a fantastic learning opportunity for students, and I highly recommend attending at least one in your first semester of studies. And lastly, my team is busy working on the university-wide career mapping framework at the moment, which is helping us provide even more career support to University of Melbourne students.
Amazing. Thanks, Murray. Could you please tell us a little bit more about career mapping?
Sure, yes, where to start? So, great question, Vanitha. So like many other universities in Australia, at the University of Melbourne, we're embedding a framework university-wide to help students reflect on how career ready they are and develop their career readiness accordingly. We call this the career mapping framework. So 2 questions have been included in the enrolment process, which asks students to reflect on where they're at in their career, whether they're a Discover student who is still figuring out what career they'd like to have, a Focus student who knows what they want to do but don't quite know how to get there, an Apply student who is ready to apply for the jobs that they want, or a Sorted student who already has their career sorted for the time being at least. Many of you in attendance today will probably be in either the Discover or the Focus stage of your career. Regardless, the Careers and Employability team is busy working on lots of different resources for students based on which of these 4 phases they're in their career journey. We have been running tailored career webinars for students based on their career mapping phase, Discover, Focus, Apply, or Sorted, to give them the knowledge and support they need to develop their careers in an efficient and meaningful way. A significant piece of work in embedding our career mapping framework has been the development of our very own Careers and Employability community on Canvas, the learning management system used at the university. In our community, we have 11 self-paced modules, from a What Should I Do With My Life module to a How to Meet Professionals in Your Field module that you are encouraged to check out. These modules refer out to many of our other digital tools too, so they're the perfect career development starting point for first-year students. So now that I've explained all that, I'll pass back to you, Vanitha. So I've talked a bit about career planning and career readiness. How have you gone about career planning and planning your career alongside your studies?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Murray. So in my personal experience, the first step I took was really to do my research and finding opportunities and events that I could get involved in. As I mentioned earlier, volunteering as a peer mentor actually led me to my first job. And so don't miss out on these opportunities to get involved. I would also check faculty newsletters and for any volunteering opportunities, as well as the Careers Online portal, as Murray mentioned, to attend various development workshops. And I've actually used these before I've applied to jobs and did some practice interviews with some of the digital tools, which Murray will talk about more. But yeah, so that's how I got started with doing my research and really proactively putting myself out there. And another amazing experience I had was when I began to get in touch with professionals. So in the industry, for example, I joined the mentoring program for the architecture, building and planning faculty. And every faculty actually has this program. So that's something I'd highly recommend. Networking is very key when it comes to career planning and career development. So being able to approach industry professionals was quite difficult for me in the beginning, but the more you practice doing these things that are outside your comfort zone, the better you will be and the more comfortable you'll feel. Ask Alumni is another platform which I've used to actually connect with industry professionals and have really good conversations about their jobs in the industry that I'm interested in. So yeah, this is just a great way to diversify your unique experience. Murray, did you want to tell them more about the digital tools that students can access?
Yep, sure, Vanitha, and thank you for that, especially mentioning Ask Alumni. It's a terrific platform that's definitely worth checking out at some point during your studies at the university. And so we have a really good digital capability in the Careers and Employability team. And I know that a lot of other universities in Australia would envy us at the University of Melbourne in terms of how advanced our digital tools and our suite of platforms are. The fact that we have a digital services team within Careers and Employability, they work on making sure these platforms are good, solid, provide expert career advice to you, regardless of where you are in the world. So we've got our Canvas community that I mentioned before, which has 11 self-paced modules that you can check out whenever you like. No assessments, no deadline. It's drop in, drop out, whatever you like. We've got our Careers Online page, which Vanitha mentioned before, which is where a lot of our job listings from employers and a lot of our events are published, including all of our workshops, webinars, and those studio sessions I mentioned before. But further to all that, there's a couple of extra tools that I'd like to talk about. One is EmployMe, which is a really diverse platform that houses a lot of career tools, articles. For instance, there's a CV builder that you can use if you don't even have a CV. There's a cover letter builder. There's an interview practice tool that lets you do mock interviews to your webcam and get automated feedback accordingly. And there are even reports which you can look up based on your study area to figure out and learn where were the jobs for people who studied this course in 2020. So it's hard to explain the EmployMe platform in a summary fashion, but that's sort of the key points. And the other one's our Smart Resume platform, which is AI machine learning led, and it's essentially a resume review platform. You can get instantaneous feedback on your resume, courtesy of this platform, which benchmarks your resume and it's the content, the presentation, how well you articulate your skills. It's benchmarked and evaluated against a lot of other resumes that have been fed into the system, and you can get expert advice accordingly to really help you prepare for the job market in your country or in Australia. So these are all great tools to check out shortly after you start. And the link to our careers page has been shared in chat. So that just gives you a bit, tells you a bit. And also we've got our Smart Editor platform, which was recently launched in Smart Resume, which is a tool that you can use to design a resume from scratch while getting real-time feedback in terms of how good are the bullet points that you're writing and how well are you selling yourself to potential employers. So there's lots to explore, lots to talk about, but I'll pause it there. I could go on, but I'll throw back to you, Vanitha. So do you have any final piece of advice for new international students at the University of Melbourne?
Awesome. Well, I guess based on my experience as an international student, my advice would be, like everyone has mentioned today, is to put yourself out there and get involved. Try new things that you wouldn't usually try. It's something that I would really encourage you to all do. And another great thing is to stay connected with your peers. So anyone you meet in your classrooms or any group projects, always like share your socials and stay connected, because this was a great having peers who do the same course as me, or even students that I've met through volunteering, has definitely helped me through my uni life. And yeah, the university community is super supportive. So don't be afraid to reach out. And yeah, just want to welcome you all to our UniMelb community and super excited for you guys. Yeah.
Great.
So Murray, do you have any final pieces of advice for our new international students?
Yes, certainly. And thank you for your sharing your piece of advice, Vinitha. So I'm not an international student. I never was. So I can't offer you that advice that Vinitha can provide, but I can tell you from a career development perspective that my advice to give you would be to start thinking soon about your career, which I'm hopeful some of you will do, because of course, a lot of the students that we see, say in our career appointment service, they're in the final semester or final weeks of their course, and they're starting to worry like, I need to find a job, what's an internship, etc. But start doing your research and upskilling your career knowledge now. You're getting such a head start and such a great advantage in the Australian economy context and in your home economy context, being mindful of the importance of extracurricular activity, the importance of experience, the importance of developing a really strong resume and cover letter documents. So it's just this is a running theme over the course of this session today, but just engage in new experiences. And from my perspective, engage in some career experiences. At the very least, check out our Canvas community as a starting point. And there's also something else that I'd like to mention. It's brand new. Our new Melbourne Employability Accelerator program is launching for overseas international students in semester 2. So students who are stuck offshore at the moment. We're excited to announce that in semester 2, a fully online program will be launching to support your employability development during your studies. This optional to 4 to 6 week program, which will launch its first round in July 2021, can help you with employability skills, setting career goals, understanding the global employment landscape, and developing a professional identity. The top rated students in the program will have the opportunity to undertake a digital industry project, working with a real business problem to present a solution to clients. Keep an eye on your university email account as this program will be launched soon, and you'll be invited to express your interest and apply. So what a fantastic initiative. I'm so pleased that we've been able to put this together for our students who are offshore to ensure that you're in no way disadvantaged in terms of career development, despite not being able to be in Melbourne at this very moment. So that's my last little piece. But otherwise, Zoe, wonder if any questions have come through. You've got anything for us?
Oh, thank you so much for that. I think I learned a lot there, and we absolutely do have some questions coming through. Murray, we're getting a lot of questions about what is the current jobs market like in Australia right now?
Yeah, great question. And I'm sure it's something on everybody's minds. If they've enrolled into a course in Australia, in Victoria, in Melbourne, then you want to know that the job prospects there are looking pretty good. And the good news is there is. So yes, the pandemic's happened. COVID-19 has been a massive disruptor worldwide. But as a lot of you may know from keeping an eye on Australian news, the Australian economy, it was hit a little bit, but it's bounced back so hard. The job numbers and advertisements going out are higher compared to pre-pandemic levels. And we're seeing such strong growth across a lot of industries month on month. So just know that if you do want to come to Australia and perhaps work in Australia after you finish studies, things are looking very bright there. From my perspective, the data, the numbers from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, they're really strong month on month. So fingers crossed that continues. I see no reason why it wouldn't.
That's really promising. And I'm going to stick with you, Murray. One of our commencing students would like to know, do international students get jobs in Australia? And I guess that's during their studies and afterwards.
Yeah, so of course, it's a little bit more challenging if you're an international graduate in Australia compared to if you're a domestic student. You need to just put in a little bit more work to really ensure that you can get the job that you want. Because indeed, a lot of companies increasingly are looking beyond the domestic pool of talent because they realize that international graduates in Australia are sometimes and often better suited to positions and got the better motivation and experience and skill set compared to a lot of domestic applicants. So the key thing to do is to get involved in the extracurricular activities that can develop your soft and transferable skills while you're studying. Because employers in Australia, grades are good and important, so definitely focus on your grades to a point. what they're really keen to see, domestic, international, doesn't matter, is that you've got those transferable skills that you can develop through extracurriculars, being a member of an OMSU club, doing some volunteering, just being really engaged in your studies, being a leader in group assignments, etc. So it's getting a bit easier over time for international graduates, and it just means that you just need to be a little bit more proactive, but the rewards are there if you are proactive in terms of the job hunt post-studies.
Some excellent advice and insights there, Murray. Thank you. And I guess I would also add to that, that a lot of Australian businesses really value students who come from other countries to be able to help, I guess, establish them in other parts of the world and to put their cultural lens and experience on it as well. So a lot of businesses see you as a big advantage. So thank you for that. Vanitha. Now, you gave a lot of great advice to students throughout the conversation you and Murray had, but if students were to go away with one thing to do after this session today to help launch their career from day one, what's that one thing that you think that they should do when our session ends tonight?
Awesome, thanks, Zoe. I would suggest really doing your research, because this is advice I would give myself if I was a first year student, and get started early on, because I did wait quite a while to get involved. And so this is something I'd definitely encourage students to do. Start checking your student portal if you have access to it, and really just have a look at what kind of resources and the diversity of opportunities that are out there for you, and try things that you've never tried before. There's probably a little bit more than one, but yeah, just get involved and have fun.
Wonderful. Now, I just want to end on one final question for you, Vanitha. Yeah. We've talked careers, you started in the Bachelor of Design, you're in the Master of Architecture. What's next for you after Melbourne?
Yeah, that is a work in progress, but at the moment, I definitely want to gain a lot more experience in the architecture field, and that's why I'm doing a lot of volunteering at the moment, just really building up my experience, because yes, it can be quite hard to find experience, but yeah, volunteering is a great way to start it. And yeah, just reaching out to industry professionals, building my network. And hopefully, yeah, you'll see me building some buildings in future.
We know that you will. I really liked that you called yourself a work in progress. That's one of the best things about university life that you're all going to experience soon. It is a chance to explore, find your passions, find your interests. And I think that's going to be my career tip in there, is to make sure, because who knows what you'll make possible. I would love to thank our two career specialists, one who's been experiencing the opportunities of the University of Melbourne, one who loves sharing and supporting his career expertise with students. Thank you, Murray. Thank you, Vanitha. We really appreciate having you here tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
Zoe.
you so much, Zoe. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
And so, everyone, you did it. You have officially got started at the University of Melbourne. We've looked at some tips and tricks to help you make friends. What are some of the things you should know as you get started at university? We've talked about ways that you can get involved outside the classroom, and we've talked about what you should consider your additional subject, building your career alongside what we embed within your classes. So there's one final question that I want to tackle that's been coming through in chat. When can I come to Australia? Well, you're here right now with me and Rue, because every time that you log on, we are bringing you Melbourne and Australia. But until then, we are ready for you, to support you, to make sure your classes are exciting and engaging, and to make sure that you can connect and feel a part of Melbourne. We don't know any news more than you do, and you'll be the first to know, but we're ready, waiting, and we can't wait to have you physically here with us. But you'll be seeing lots of us every time. So finally, I want to say a big congratulations. This is huge. Welcome to the University of Melbourne and our community and all of our campuses where you are at home all throughout the world. So up next, for those of you whose parents and family and friends want to know a little bit more, we've got a special session just for you and for them so they can know a little bit more about how we're supporting you. And stay tuned because tomorrow we're going to be looking closer at the classroom. How can you set yourself up for academic success? Course planning, how do I do that? We're going to show you. And importantly, we're going to be giving you a glimpse into online learning. What's it like? How does it work? So congratulations, Woman Jaika. I'm Zoe Wall. I'll see you tomorrow and good luck. Welcome to the Melbourne family.